How safe are our political leaders in today's interconnected and often volatile world? In a chilling reminder of the dangers they face, Slovakian Prime Minister Robert Fico was severely wounded in a shooting incident. This violent act unfolded in the town of Handlova shortly after a political event. As he was meeting with supporters outside the House of Culture, 4 shots rang out, striking Fico in the stomach. The severity of his injuries necessitated an urgent airlift to a hospital in Banska Bystrica, bypassing closer facilities due to the need for immediate, specialized care. The news of this attack sent shockwaves across Slovakia and throughout Europe. Immediate reactions poured in, from local citizens to international leaders, all echoing a sentiment of disbelief and concern. The gravity of this situation extends beyond the immediate health of one man. It touches on the very fabric of democratic engagement and the safety of its stewards. As the leader fights for his life, a nation and a continent grapple with the implications of this violent act. Who is Robert Fico, and why might this attack resonate beyond the borders of Slovakia? Robert Fico, a figure both celebrated and criticized, has been a dominant player in Slovak politics for decades. As a leader of the leftist Smer or Direction Party, Fico has served as Prime Minister 3 times, most recently reclaiming power after the parliamentary elections on September 30th. His political narrative is characterized by a populist, pro-Russian stance, which starkly contrasts with the pro-Western orientation that prevailed in Slovakia before his latest electoral victory. Under Fico's leadership, Slovakia has witnessed significant political and social upheaval. His campaign, laden with pro-Russian and anti-American rhetoric, has not only won him a substantial following, but also sparked widespread controversy and protest. Thousands have rallied in the capital and across the country, voicing their dissent against what they perceive as a shift towards authoritarianism, akin to the political climate of Hungary under Viktor Orbán. Adding to the domestic tension, Fico's government proposed a contentious plan to overhaul public broadcasting. Critics argue that this move would tighten governmental control over public radio and television, threatening the freedom of the press and expression. This proposal was met with strong opposition, leading to the cancellation of protests by major opposition parties in the wake of the shooting. Fico's controversial policies have not only shaped Slovakia's domestic politics, but also its international relationships. In the wake of the shooting, how have global and local leaders responded? The response to the attack on Slovak Prime Minister Robert Fico was swift and resounding. From the heart of Slovakia to the broader European landscape, leaders expressed their shock and condemnation. President Zuzana Kaputova described the attack as brutal and ruthless, underscoring the severity of the incident. She extended her wishes for Fico's strength and quick recovery during this critical time. Meanwhile, European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen labeled the incident a vile attack, strongly emphasizing that such acts of violence have no place in society. This sentiment was echoed across the continent as leaders grappled with the implications of such violence on democratic processes. NATO Secretary-General Jens Stoltenberg expressed his dismay on the social media platform X, stating he was shocked and appalled by the shooting. His reaction not only reflected personal shock but also highlighted the broader geopolitical concerns given the attack's timing ahead of significant European Parliament elections. The chorus of condemnation reflects a unified stance against political violence, but will it be enough? Is political violence becoming an alarmingly common aspect of global politics? As we delve into recent events, the stark rise in political violence across the world poses a formidable threat to the sanctity of democratic processes. The attack on Slovakian Prime Minister Robert Fico is not an isolated incident, but part of a troubling pattern that seems to be emerging globally. In Europe alone, there have been multiple instances where political figures faced threats or actual violence. This trend stretches beyond European borders, touching various continents where the political climate is volatile. Each incident sends ripples through the political landscape of the nation involved, shaking the confidence of both the public and the policymakers. What drives such violent acts? Often, they stem from deep-seated political or ideological disagreements, exacerbated by polarizing rhetoric. In some cases, these attacks are used as drastic measures to silence opposition or to make a powerful statement against certain policies or leaders. The implications are profound, as they not only endanger the lives of individuals but also threaten the core democratic principle that disputes should be resolved through dialogue and legal processes, not violence. The recent surge in political violence also raises questions about the security measures in place and the ability of states to protect their leaders. Furthermore, it highlights a broader societal issue: the increasing acceptance of violence as a means to an end. This normalization of violence is a dangerous path, one that can lead to more instability and chaos. As bullets replace ballots, the very foundation of democracy seems to tremble. The challenge now is not only to address the security and political issues that lead to such violence, but also to reaffirm the world's commitment to democratic values and peaceful resolution of conflicts. What could be the broader implications of this attack on Slovak politics and its relations with Europe? In the wake of the shocking attack on Slovak Prime Minister Robert Fico, the ripples are expected to spread far beyond the immediate medical concerns and into the very heart of European and Slovak politics. As Slovakia gears up for the European Parliament elections, the incident casts a long shadow over the democratic processes, with populist and hard-right parties poised to capitalize on the turmoil. This event may very well amplify the existing political tensions in Slovakia, where Fico's pro-Russian stance has already drawn significant attention and criticism. The shooting could polarize opinions further, potentially driving more voters towards populist platforms, which often thrive in climates of fear and uncertainty. Such a shift could alter the balance in the upcoming elections, giving these parties a stronger foothold, not only in Slovakia but across the European Union. On the domestic front, the attack could lead to a tightening of security measures and possibly a harsher stance on civil liberties. In a country where thousands have protested against what they perceive as authoritarian shifts, this could exacerbate public dissent and lead to a deeper societal division. Internationally, the repercussions might be just as profound. Slovakia's role within NATO and its alignment with EU policies are at stake. A potential shift towards more pro-Russian policies under Fico's leadership or under a similar successor if Fico were to step down could strain Slovakia's relationships with its Western allies. This comes at a time when unity within both NATO and the EU is paramount, given the global political climate and the ongoing challenges on the European continent. The broader European landscape is also at a critical juncture. With populist movements gaining momentum across several countries, the attack on a high-profile leader like Fico could be leveraged by similar parties to promote their agenda, which often includes a strong stance against what they term as establishment politics. This could lead to a more fragmented European Parliament, where consensus on key issues becomes harder to achieve. With an election looming, Slovakia stands at a crossroads, and this attack only adds to the uncertainty. The coming weeks will be crucial in determining how deep the impact of this event will be on the fabric of Slovak society and its external relationships. As Europe watches closely, the stakes are undeniably high, not just for Slovakia, but for the entire region. As Slovakia and the world reflect on this shocking event, what lessons might be drawn about political stability and the future? In the wake of the attempted assassination of Slovak Prime Minister Robert Fico, a sobering reality confronts us: the fragility of political stability in an era marked by increasing divisiveness. This incident not only underscores the potential for violence in political discourse, but also serves as a grim reminder of the challenges facing democratic processes worldwide. The shooting occurs at a pivotal moment for Slovakia, just weeks ahead of crucial European Parliament elections. It raises poignant questions about the intersections of political expression, security, and the very principles of democracy. If political disagreements escalate to violence, what becomes of reasoned debate and the peaceful transfer of power? Looking ahead, the implications for Slovakia depend significantly on the outcome of Fico's recovery. His condition, described as life-threatening, leaves a cloud of uncertainty over the nation's political landscape. Should Fico recover, the sympathy and support might consolidate his position, potentially bolstering his party's anti-Western rhetoric. Conversely, a tragic outcome could plunge Slovakia into a period of introspection and possibly recalibration of its political trajectory. Moreover, this event might prompt a broader reflection on security measures for public officials and the tone of political rhetoric. The rise of populist and hard-right factions in Europe has coincided with a noticeable uptick in political polarization. This environment can foster, inadvertently or otherwise, a climate where extreme actions overshadow dialogue. The resilience of Slovakia's democratic institutions is now under a microscope. Will they withstand the strain of this crisis? The robustness of these institutions and their ability to navigate through these turbulent times will be a testament to the strength of the democratic fabric woven over the past 3 decades. In times of crisis, the resilience of a nation's democratic institutions is truly tested. What can we do to strengthen our democratic institutions against the threats of violence and instability? In a world where political violence seems an ever-looming shadow, the importance of safeguarding our democratic institutions cannot be overstated. We must nurture a culture of active civic engagement where every voice is heard and valued not through the barrel of a gun, but through the power of the vote and open dialogue. Robust legal frameworks are essential in this endeavor. Laws that not only deter but also swiftly and fairly address acts of political violence are crucial. It is through such frameworks that societies can maintain order while respecting the rights and freedoms that form the bedrock of any democracy. Furthermore, international cooperation plays a pivotal role. By sharing knowledge, resources, and strategies, countries can better anticipate and combat threats to political stability. This global network of support reinforces the security of individual nations and the international community as a whole. Participation in democratic processes is not just a right, it is a responsibility. Each individual's engagement contributes to the collective strength of our institutions. By voting, staying informed, and holding our leaders accountable, we actively participate in the fortification of our democracy. Each of us holds the power to fortify democracy through our actions and choices. Let's choose wisely.